So, is there more to life than the modern hamster wheel? Seriously, think about it for a second. We all know that daily hustle, right? You wake up, you go to work, you try to build a decent life, you look for love, and, well, if you're anything like me, you probably spend way too much time just trying to figure out what's for dinner before you crash, wake up, and do it all over again. It is the rhythm of our lives. And hey, it's beautiful in its own way, but it does kind of leave us pausing in those quiet moments asking, wait, is this it? Is this literally all there is to the human experience? Well, today, we're going to explore a truly fascinating framework that suggests we are actually wired for a much deeper journey.
All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really profound philosophical text called The Fivefold Ascent, From Possession to Pure Awareness. Now, this source material maps out the human journey, but not just as a standard timeline from birth to death. Now, it frames it as this incredible evolution of consciousness. It basically argues that our capacity as human beings goes way, way beyond just surviving and paying the bills. Honestly, reading through this 5-step map completely shifted how I view my own life's trajectory, and I am super excited to break it down with you.
Here's our agenda for the Ascent today. We'll kick things off with the modern human journey, move into surviving and fulfilling, and then explore the power of connection. After that, we'll hit the need to know before reaching achieving pure awareness, and we'll wrap it all up with the complete ascent.
Okay, Section 1, The Modern Human Journey, Setting the Foundation.
The source text points out that modern life is pretty much organized around three main concerns: to have, to live, and to love. I mean, if you look at your calendar or, your credit card statements, you'll probably see these three things staring right back at you. We spend almost our entire lives chasing them. We're constantly securing the resources we need to survive. We're trying to build a fulfilling life around those resources. And of course, we desperately want to share that life through our relationships. But the text proposes this really compelling idea. The human existence actually has the capacity to move far, far beyond just these initial concerns.
Section 2, Surviving and Fulfilling, the Body and Life.
Now, to ground all this philosophy in everyday reality, the journey starts with the most foundational question of human existence: how can I survive? Honestly, if you can't answer that question, nothing else really matters, right? It's literally the starting line for every single human being.
And that brings us to the first stage, which the text calls the domain of the body, or to have. Our absolute first responsibility is just taking care of our bodies and sustaining life. We need food, shelter, security, health, the whole material foundation that makes survival even possible. It's about earning, possessing, building. Now, the text makes a really beautiful point here about work. Meaningful work ideally gives us way more than just a paycheck. It provides dignity, purpose, creativity, the satisfaction of actually contributing to society. But, and this is a crucial distinction, possessions are just the means to living. They are not the ultimate purpose of living. They're the foundation. They aren't the house itself.
So, once basic survival is reasonably secured, once you aren't constantly panicking about your next meal or keeping a roof over your head, a totally new question naturally pops up. How shall I live?
And that leads us to the second stage, to live. This is the domain of life. It's where we transform just surviving into a genuinely lived human experience. In this stage, sure, we work, but we also rest. We learn, we experience, we create, we travel, we grow. We establish a stable way of living. The source text brings up a super relatable example here, the cycle of parenthood and family. We all start out as kids, receiving care. But by having kids of our own, we get to experience the exact opposite side of that coin, nurturing and preparing another human being for their own life. This stage is really all about filling the container of your life with rich, meaningful experiences.
Moving on to Section 3, the power of connection, the heart.
Here, the guiding question shifts yet again. Now it's, how can I love and belong? Because, let's be real, humans don't want to just exist in a vacuum. We have this deep, fundamental drive to belong somewhere, and to belong with someone.
So we enter the third stage, to love. This is the domain of the heart, where we actively seek out relationship, family, friendship, community, companionship. These are the things that give life its real warmth and meaning. Through these relationships, we make a pretty profound discovery. Life just isn't meant to be a solo act. Connection is that magic ingredient that transforms our existence from just living as an isolated individual into this beautifully shared experience with others.
Now here is where the text makes a truly massive pivot. Everything we've talked about so far, the body, the life, and the heart, the text groups these three dimensions together as being primarily about living in the world. It's outward, it's material, it's social. But then we transition to a totally different space,
understanding the world. This is the domain of the mind and consciousness, and this represents a monumental shift from outward interaction to deep, inward, intellectual, and spiritual exploration.
Which brings us to Section 4, the need to know, the mind.
Think about it. Even if you have a materially secure, socially connected, and emotionally amazing life, you still might find yourself staring up at the stars at night with these massive unanswered questions. The mind starts asking, wait, what actually is this reality? How does the universe work? What even is life? Why are we here?
And this is the fourth stage, to know. Here, we rely on science, philosophy, math, art, history, and rigorous inquiry to move from simply experiencing the world to truly understanding it. We aren't just eating the apple anymore, right? We want to know the biology of the apple, the physics of gravity that made it drop from the tree, and the philosophical implications of us even standing in the orchard. Now, the text notes a really interesting reality here. This is actually where the journey pauses for a lot of folks, simply because the daily demands of material and emotional fulfillment take up so much of our bandwidth.
Section 5. Achieving Pure Awareness. Consciousness.
At the very peak of this ascent, the core question changes completely. Instead of asking about the external universe, we turn entirely inward and ask, who am I?
This is the fifth and final stage, to be. Beyond just knowing about reality lies the mind-bending possibility of knowing reality through awareness itself. As the text explains, the whole direction of inquiry radically shifts here. Up until now, the mind has been looking outward, trying to figure out the universe, right? But now, consciousness turns inward and investigates the very nature of the knower. The question becomes, who or what is actually experiencing this reality right now? It's kind of like stopping the movie to suddenly realize you are the screen it's playing on. This isn't about memorizing another textbook. It is about the possibility of direct awareness and pure realization.
Section 6. The Complete Ascent. From Possession to Pure Awareness.
Looking at this as one unified journey, you can see the precise evolution of human capacity that the text describes. We start at step 1, to have, securing our basic survival. We build on that with step 2, to live, creating a fulfilling experience. We enrich that in step 3, to love, connecting deeply with other people. We expand our horizons in step 4, to know, seeking to actually understand the universe. And finally, we transcend into step 5, to be, investigating the pure awareness of the knower.
Let's just do a quick review of these profound transitions. As the text summarizes, the journey moves in a sequence. First, we move from mere possession to lived experience. Then, we transition from solitary experience to shared relationship. From relationship, we elevate our gaze to seek true understanding. And finally, from intellectual understanding, we take the ultimate leap into pure awareness. Every single stage is necessary, but every stage is also just a stepping stone to something far greater. I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought straight from the text. Perhaps the deepest movement of human development is not from having more, but from knowing more to eventually being more deeply aware of what already is. It is such a wild shift in perspective, isn't it? So look at your own life right now. Which stage are you pouring most of your energy into? Are you stuck on the treadmill of just having, or are you actually making space for knowing and being? The ascent is there for all of us, literally waiting to be climbed. So where are you on the ascent today, and what step will you take tomorrow?